Are you a little nervous about starting online college and are not sure what the best things to do are to be the most successful you can be? Then today's video is for you. We're going to go through 5 tips and tricks on how to be the best online student you can be. Let's go. So excuse the background, I'm actually in a hotel right now. I'm on a trip for the college that I work for, so don't mind the aesthetic background. So tip number 1 is actually to be organized. Now this may seem like a duh, Ashley, like you need to be organized when you're working from home. But no, you need to be really methodically organized. That means writing in your planner, write down everything that you have due for that week and possibly color code it, whether that be with a highlighter or using a different pen for different types of assignment. Organizing also means making sure that all of your assignments are in order. So online, usually it's all inside modules, which is pretty easy to stay organized with. But if you're printing things, make sure that you're keeping separate folders for each one of those modules, for each one of those weeks of assignments. This will help you if you need to look back, say for a final, and be able to find exactly what week and what topic you need to find. Now there's different ways to be organized. Some students really enjoy having a giant wall calendar. That for me isn't the best option. I actually really enjoy just a good old paper planner. And there's 2 types you can really go for when it comes to school. I really like this one currently and the one I'm going to be using for this upcoming school year. It allows me to not only write down on every day of the month, but get really detailed with my task list. There are more simple ones such as this one, which is what I use more for video planning and work. And this one is just for the month. There's not really anywhere fancy to write down certain tasks or certain lists. You can also do planners on your phone, whether that be just the typical calendar that comes on your phone or actually downloading an app. One app that I actually enjoy using is Planner Pro. They have a free version, but there are tons of apps out there for both Apple and Androids. Tip number 2 is to read your syllabus fully. It's so easy when you're not having to sit in the class during syllabus week to just breeze through your syllabus, to just be like, okay, yeah, great, and click out of it. No, use your syllabus to help you plan for your entire quarter or semester, whatever your school goes on. So when you get your syllabus, a lot of times professors will actually put what assignments are going to be due. So make sure you go through and start marking those in your organizer so that you know ahead of time exactly when assignments are going to be due. Also in the syllabus, you can often find commonly asked questions. A lot of times professors get questions and they just refer you back to the syllabus. You can avoid this entire situation if you just read the syllabus fully or even mark up your syllabus so that when you come to look back at it, you can use your own handwriting to find exactly what you need. Tip number 3 is to keep constant communication within your online classes. Now, of course, keep communication with your professor. So make sure that you are emailing if you have any questions, even about the syllabus during that first couple days. Don't be afraid to email them. A lot of times professors online have office hours as well where you can Skype in, Zoom in, or call them. So make sure you're using those as well. Never be afraid to ask a question. If you were inside the actual physical classroom, you could just raise your hand and ask that question right there. But for some reason, when you're having to actually email or call a professor, it can feel a little awkward. Don't feel like that. Just do it. They will be so thankful and so happy that a student is showing interest beyond just doing the assignment. Also communicate with your other class members. Just because you're online, it doesn't mean you need to lose that feeling of community within the class. Communicate with others, whether that be through your discussion board assignments or actually going through and privately emailing them. Maybe see if you can get a study group together through Zoom or if your area allows it in person. This is really important. Keeping that feeling of community and accountability is going to help you succeed in an online class instead of feeling like, I don't really feel like I'm a part of anything and I don't really feel like I'm in school. Keep your community around you and keep your communication open. Tip number 4 is actually to use your college's resources. Now, when you're actually in the college itself and you're in the building, it can be really easy to just stop in at the library to do some research or stop in at the local tutoring center. But when you're online, sometimes we forget that a lot of these universities and colleges and trade schools actually offer online alternatives, especially right now where most everything is online. So make sure you're using those tutoring centers, those writing centers, and those libraries. A lot of libraries have a whole online database, even separate than what they had in the actual office. So make sure that you're using those. These are your best friend during online, especially in a time where it's really easy to use Google. But when we use Google, sometimes we run into the problem where we're not using qualified sources. You want to make sure that your sources are the best possible options that you can have. And I'll do a video on that later on how to vet your sources. But make sure that you're using all that your college has to offer. This includes the counseling center, the wellness center, and your advisor. I highly recommend meeting with your advisor either before classes or right after, and just getting in touch with them to see where you are in your current degree plan. And if you're struggling with anything with online classes, please reach out to your advisor. They oftentimes have options for you, whether it's a pass-fail for a class or getting you out before a full tuition reimbursement is no longer an option. So make sure that you are staying up to date and involved with all of your college's resources. And tip number 5 is to have a study area. Now, a study area really can be anything. If you find that you can study in your own bed and not get distracted, and that's where you feel comfortable, then that's where you study. If you study better at a library and your library is open, study at the library. For me personally, I really like to study on my couch downstairs in the corner part of my sectional. It's very specific, but that's where I am able to really hone down. And when I sit in that area, because I've made a habit out of it, I know as soon as I sit there with my laptop and my textbooks that it is time to study. I shut everything else off and just focus. Now, this won't happen right away, and it may take a couple times to find your right study spot. You may need to make a comfortable desk area or find a good pillow and some blankets that you can set up on a floor somewhere, but just keep messing around with it. Once you find your study space, make a habit out of studying there. Try really hard to study there every time that you need to do an assignment, even if it's a quick discussion post or actually read your textbook. Keeping a habit will allow you, when you sit down in that spot, to just blank everything out and fully focus on that assignment. I hope you found these quick 5 tips and tricks helpful for you with online learning. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos pertaining to online learning, since right now in our society, online is becoming the new norm, and it can be a little bit awkward and cumbersome at first, but I promise you that if you just stay committed, you stay organized, and you are really optimistic in the way you approach it, you will do just fine. Until next time, get a hotter iced coffee, and I will see you later.